be honest, I just love helping people. So if there's anything that I can do that, I think helping people just gives you a bit of a buzz and makes you feel good. So if there's anything that I can do, or even if it's just something small every day to help somebody, that generally makes me feel so much better. So
that's a good trait to have, for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we have a very, very special guest today. Hayley, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, Monday morning, isn't it? Bright and early. No, it's not actually bright and early. It's 11:30 now. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Martha facilitated this interview.
You did, yes. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah. Well, actually, one thing that I didn't prep you for that I get everyone to do, you probably listen to some other podcasts, is how would you introduce yourself for the first time? If you're meeting someone for the first time or in the back of a taxi, how would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I would say my name is Hayley. I work as a financial advisor and I've been doing the role for about 3 years now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Interested to know more because you said, I'm not going to spoil it actually, of how you started and how you got to where you are now. So yeah, let's go straight into it then. Let's go into the 3 facts. So you said you found it a bit difficult. You thought you were a bit boring, but I'm sure you're not.
So going into 3 facts about myself. So I would say my main hobby outside of work is running. So I really enjoy running. I did the Cumbrian run yesterday.
Oh, did you?
I did,
oh,
yeah.
Amazing. How did you go?
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. So I set myself a mini goal this year of running half a marathon. And that was my 3rd one. So
amazing.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
That's crazy.
Done a few this year, which is really good. The weather was on our side yesterday as well. So it was lovely weather compared to the storm, which we've had a few days prior.
Yeah, no,
so that was really good.
Yeah, I'm so into my running at the moment.
Are
since
you as
last
well?
year.
Yeah.
I love it, honestly. I was like that last year. I was like, I want to do half marathons. So yeah, I was going to do the Cumbrian yesterday, but I was in Liverpool. So yeah, which other ones have you done this year?
Yeah, so I've done the Carlisle Half in March. That was my first one. I did the Great North Run in September.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so the Great North Run was amazing. I did that for a local charity.
Oh, cool.
So for Cash for Kids.
Oh, yeah. Cash for Kids, such a good charity.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, that was incredible support and everything. So I really enjoyed that one.
It's huge, isn't it?
It's huge. So many people. It's the world's biggest. Yeah.
It's like 60,000.
It is, 60,000. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Yeah. How did you find getting back? Because I know when I did it last year, because you run from Newcastle, don't you, to the coast, and then you have to did you get a train back or something?
We did. We got the metro line back.
Metro, that's it, yeah.
So we queued for probably 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah,
to get on that metro. Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'm never going to do it again.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it, but that was the only thing. It does take quite a long time to get back home. So it was a very, very long day.
Yeah.
You're out for a full 12 hours plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good.
Oh, amazing. That's so cool. Second one?
So I would say my second fact, so prior to my role as financial advisor, I was in car sales and I actually did quite a few competitions with car sales. The brand was See It, and I've been lucky enough to take part in a competition called Top See It People. So I came 4th in the world globally for that.
Brilliant.
So yeah.
That's impressive, yeah. How did you find car sales then?
Interesting. Yeah. So to be honest, I did really enjoy the role itself and I loved meeting lots of new customers, finding out what it was that they needed in a car. And then it's very nice being able to help people achieve that by showing them the different options, what we have available. So I did really enjoy it, to be honest. It is some very testing hours. So you work a lot of late nights, a lot of weekends. So to be honest, that was probably my main reason for looking for an alternative option, I would say.
Yeah.
But I've done it for 8 years.
A long time. Yeah,
it's a long time. Just that one brand as well. So anything See It or Cooper related, I should know inside out. Yeah.
And then I'm interested to know about the competition sense. So how is that structured, and then how are you like ranked and like say 4th in the world? That's amazing, obviously. But how is that judged?
Yeah. So you have to enter and you have to go through different qualification stages. So the first part they'll look at is your mainly customer satisfaction scores, and the manager of the dealership will put you forward to the next stage. So look at customer satisfaction scores, the amount of vehicles that you've sold. And then the next parts are very judged about the brand. So we went down to Milton Keynes, we did various tests about the brand history, show them how the technology works. And we had to do like quite a few role plays of showing a potential client how that technology works. You got scored on that, and then after that you went to Barcelona, and that's where the global part took place. So yeah, it was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. And the third one?
So my third fact is I'm a big people pleaser. So to be honest, I love people pleaser. Does sound quite a cheesy statement to make, but to be honest, I just love helping people. So if there's anything that I can do that I think helping people just gives you a bit of a buzz and makes you feel good. So if there's anything that I can do, or even if it's just something small every day to help somebody, that generally makes me feel so much better. So
that's a good trait to have for sure. Yeah, definitely. So let's go back to like a little Hayley then, first memory growing up, or what your parents would say about you when you were small. What would they say about you?
Yeah, so to be honest, I think growing up I'd like to think I was a good, obedient child. I was very outdoorsy. So my grandparents lived in the countryside. I was always around animals. And from the age of about 8, I was lucky enough to get my own horse. So I spent a lot of time like horse riding, doing various different competitions. So that's what I spent the majority of my childhood life doing, really, being outside with animals and just spending time with them.
Yeah. Having a horse is like a full-time job in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They need a lot of care and attention. And I also know as well that my parents would have put a lot of sacrifices in, even things such as getting another car so we could tow a horse box, that sort of thing. and that, I guess that was so they could keep my hobby going, really. Yeah.
And at that age, you probably don't think about it as much as you do now when you reflect and you think, like you say, you made some sacrifices to do that. So that's cool that they did that.
Yeah. And I think I very much followed in my mum's footsteps. So she had a horse. She lost the horse when she was about 42, so she's quite an age, so it just shows it is definitely a lifelong pet. But I definitely followed in her footsteps because she has horses growing up too.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And you mentioned you were an outdoorsy person. Did you enjoy the academic side of school when you were small, like primary school? Or?
I did. I definitely really enjoyed I would say primary and secondary school. I really enjoyed maths. Probably not so much like the algebra side of things, but I did just quite enjoy like the problem solving side of maths. In English as well, and in secondary school I stayed on to do A levels, and I took on English actually as an A level.
Okay, yeah. I quite enjoyed maths, to be honest. Maths and PE were my strongest too.
Yes,
but apart from that, I wasn't too interested, but numbers always interested me. Yeah, which is good.
And bizarrely now, to be honest, even at school, I would say PE was I'd say it's probably my weakest subject. I only got into running just over 12 months ago. So it's sometimes strange how things happen later on in life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So then going through school, was there anything you wanted to do or anything you wanted to be? Any jobs, roles, aspirations?
Yeah, so I think originally I wanted to be a vet.
Because
animals. And I think a lot of children probably think about being vets just because they can help the animals. I think I'd really, really struggle with I guess there's a very sad side of being a vet and having to put animals to sleep and things like that. So I'd really struggle with that side of things. I did stay on to do my A-levels and I did IT as well. I quite enjoyed working with computers. But to be honest, I didn't really know, especially when I finished school, what I wanted to do. So I didn't go to university just because I didn't really have a specific subject that I wanted to really focus in on.
Yeah. It's such a difficult age, isn't it? Like that 16 to 18, because you ask, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And you don't really have a clue.
You don't know. No, you don't. And I think they've changed the rules slightly now. So you now have to stay on to education until 18. But it was only 16 when I was at school. So there was a lot of friends around me that were leaving school like 16. And at that point, you're right, it's what do you do? And I think it's sometimes quite difficult as well when you're seeing your friends at age 16, they'll go out and get a full-time job. And if you're still studying and doing A-levels, everyone's at different stages and different life stages.
Yeah. Especially like some of my friends left at 16 and they're, like I say, making money.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably not real life money, but for a 16-year-old making any kind of money is crazy. And you think, they can like afford to do this or buy that. And you think, that's so cool, isn't it? But yeah, it's so interesting, like at 16, to think that you could have left back then. Whereas now, obviously, you have to stay until 18. Because, I think I just stayed on at sixth form just because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just like, I'll just stay in school.
I was the same, to be honest. Yeah, I was exactly the same. And I thought I was there was nothing at all wrong with school or anything like that. And I enjoyed it, and it meant that I could still spend time with friends. So a lot of us did actually just stay on and do sixth form, which I think is a good thing to do, because I think at 16 you're not quite, you don't know what you want to do.
You're only a baby,
Yeah,
aren't you?
you are.
Even though at 16 I probably thought I knew everything.
Yes, you do.
I was like, yeah, I've got this figured out. So then when you're doing your A-levels, what was the plan then when you were finishing, or was it just do the exams and just see what happens? Or
So when I've always enjoyed, to be honest, I've always liked cars, which again, probably a little bit different for a female liking cars, because especially like a lot of the like sporty ones and things like that can be seen as more, it's boys and men who like them. My birthday was quite late on, so it was end of June is my birthday. So I was one of the younger ones in my year. So everybody was driving before me.
so
and I was
so
wanting
envious.
to get out there, wanting to drive. So once my birthday came, had started having lessons, had my test, and I think I did it in quite a short period. So I did it about 3 months.
That's really fast.
Yeah, I did it really, really quickly, just because I was so focused on it. I knew I wanted to start driving. So at that point, I was in like the second year of sixth form. Enjoyed driving, enjoyed like having my own car and getting around. When I was in the second year of sixth form, I then decided to do a little bit of experience. So I did voluntary work at a car dealership, and just to get extra experience, I worked weekends and where I was available to in the summer holidays. I worked for a couple of weeks for them as well. And I think that gave me quite a bit of extra experience in that world, really. And then my first role when I left schools, at this point I would have been 18, was as a service advisor. So as a trainee service advisor, and that's how I got into the motor trade from that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because then what made you want to do the voluntary work then? Was it just you off your own bat, or did your parents like recommend it, or what?
No, so it's definitely off my own back. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't think anybody really recommended it. I think I kind of seen it as, it's definitely experience. It also is a really good part to get experience and have there's a saying where it's a foot in the door, but that's kind of what I've seen it as well, because it's getting your name out there really. And I think if you're willing to work and show people that you're willing to work, good things kind of follow.
Yeah, because I think experience is like super, super valuable, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Especially, well, these days as degrees are probably hold less weight than anything. I remember when I was finishing uni and people that went to better universities than me, but I had better experience and I got offered a job over other people. But like you say, at 17 when you were doing that, it's quite cool to think that you just had that, I don't know, just thought, oh, I'm going to do that and just get my foot in the door and just get some experience. Because I'd imagine a lot of 17-year-olds probably I wouldn't have thought that, to be honest, at that age, which is cool. So what was that like then? In a workplace, like just volunteering? I bet your eyes were open completely.
They were, yeah. So they very much were. And I think everybody was a lot older than me, and nothing at all wrong with that. But I did kind of very much feel like the baby and the youngest one of the dealership. And even when I started in my first role, I found that as well. I was definitely the youngest. At first, I started off in the service side of things. So there was only a few females kind of on the front desk and in the back office, whereas a lot of it was salesmen, and the technicians were all male as well. And to be honest with you, I didn't even look at it any differently. It wasn't really something that ever bothered me. It was only when somebody pointed it out and kind of said, I thought, oh yeah, it is. But everybody seemed to get on well, so it was absolutely fine. I think working with slightly, because at that point I was only sort of 18, working with slightly older, more experienced people as well, it really helped bring on my confidence. So when I first started in the motor industry, I was very shy, really, really quiet. And I think having those difficult conversations that you have to have with customers and putting yourself out there definitely helped bring on my confidence level a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. I think, any 18-year-old, isn't it? Putting yourself in them situations, you'll grow as a person like rapidly, I'd imagine.
Definitely, yeah. So. I think the saying is sink or swim. Yeah, isn't it? And I remember when I first started, I think there was a period for maybe a week or two where, due to staff illness, we're quite short on staff on the front desk. So I just kind of got on with it, see how it went, and it went really well. Yeah. And that's where it comes from, really. Sometimes you don't know until you try.
Yeah, it's amazing, yeah. Was it what you expected?
I'd say so, yeah. Some parts maybe not, but yeah, I'd say more so what I expected, really, yeah.
How was the progression through through that then after you started?
Yeah, so after I started, so I was a trainee service advisor. I did a lot of the training was down in Milton Keynes. So I did a lot of course and things down in Milton Keynes. And it was actually one of my friends at the time. My friend is a good couple of years older than me, but she did car sales. And I kind of seen her do that. And I seen that to be honest, I seen the rewards that she got from it, more so from a customer satisfaction side of things. So with the service side of things, people were coming in, spending money, but not seeing anything for the money. So if your car needs a new tyre, you can see that new tyre, but it's not really giving you any value. Whereas if you buy a new car, it's that satisfaction, somebody getting a new car, it's, there's a bit of a buzz about it. So that's actually how I progressed through and went from service to sales.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because when you actually say it out loud, that makes so much more sense.
Yes.
Because I just wouldn't have think of it like that. Because when you get a new car, you are buzzing out.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, this is so cool.
And that's, to be honest, that's one of the best feelings as well, when somebody has bought their new car and they've saved up so hard for this car. And you'll have circumstances, whether it's a new or a used car, that's maybe the only car they'll get for every 10 years. It might be the first brand new car they've ever got. I was very much conscious of, when I was delivering these cars, that might be their only time that they get that. So I'd always like to make it as best experience as what I could.
Yeah. Because especially if you're doing it on a daily basis, isn't it? Then it's just like another number or another person, isn't it? You want to make it as special for that, because like I say, it might be that the only time they do it, or every 5-10 years. Yeah. So it's a big thing, like getting a new car, buying a new house. They're two big moments.
The two biggest purchases you'll make. And I was very much aware of that, especially registration change was twice a year. So every March and every September. 1st of March was probably the busiest day you'll have in the whole year, because everybody wants to pick up the new car on that day. So I remember one year, I think I did 12 deliveries in the day.
12?
In one day.
How many hours did you work? Like 30 hours in one day?
The cars were all in the showroom, all lined up, ready to go. They're all in like various orders of what was leaving. But the amount of prep that goes into that to get those cars ready, you've also got to very much always be on your game, because it's the next client that's coming in, that's going to be their, say, such a big moment for them. Even when it got to the 11th and 12th one, I was very much still aware of that and still wanted to deliver the best experience they could. But it was probably a very much full on, maybe 12 to 15 hour day, something like that.
Yeah, like the 11th, the 12th, you'd be absolutely knackered, but you're still like, oh my God, congratulations.
Yes, exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, because you want them to feel good about it, don't you? You want to be like, oh, bloody hell, she's not bothered, is she? So... yeah, no, that's cool. Did you enjoy that role then? Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I did. So I did enjoy it. So I did car sales for 8 years. So again, started off as like a trainee, went through and did various courses. They were all down in Milton Keynes as well. So the brand was Seat, and they're part of the Volkswagen group. So very much down in Milton Keynes for all their training. But I was also really lucky enough as well, is when they did like a product launch, or I was mentioned about the competition that you're lucky enough to sometimes go out to like the factory or go out to Barcelona to see the cars. So that was very much a rewarding side of things. Yeah. Didn't happen all the time, but when it did, it was really welcomed. It was a lovely experience and lovely thing to do.
Yeah, it sounds like you did really, really well with that. Like you say, going 4th in the world, that's an amazing achievement, isn't it? Yeah.
So sometimes I'd say it was a bit different, because it was a long time, especially in the sales role. We were only a small team. But for the majority of that time, we did have another female join us for a short period, but the majority of the time I was the only female. And to be honest, it never bothered me, because I always got on really well with everybody, even if it was the various different customers, various different salespeople. The only times where I guess you kind of notice that difference is a lot of the time people think I was a receptionist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I did have that quite a lot. And I remember one particular case, a customer came in to speak about a car, and my manager originally spoke to them, and they just kind of kept saying, I want to speak to a car salesman. And my manager at the time said, oh, Hayley can give you that information, but they kept going back to him because I think people think I probably shouldn't have known what I knew about the cars. But
a bit sexist, isn't it, really?
It can be sometimes, It only happened, I was very lucky. It was very occasional. And the times where it did, to be honest, I like to prove people wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
And show them that, I do know. I think, to be honest, that particular case did turn out like really good and it did turn out really well. But I think it's just stereotypical. I think if you kind of sat at the forefront of a dealership, maybe did look like a receptionist sat there, and people don't expect you to have a saleswoman compared to a salesman. Yeah.
Because it's just like a stereotype, isn't it? Yeah,
It is.
that is what it is.
Completely.
Yeah. Generalization. So then you were there for 8 years, and then when did you decide you'd had enough?
Yeah, so I was there for quite a long period. After working through Seat, the brand kind of relaunched and had Cupra as well. Really enjoyed that side of things too, and getting that new brand out there and that visage out there. To be honest, I thought about it for a little while. There's a few things that kind of did bother me. You'd always have a stereotypical salesman. And unfortunately, a lot of, especially the term used car salesperson can be tarred with a brush, really. So I did want to just kind of get out of that industry. I also wanted to do something that I thought, do something more for myself. So in that industry, I guess from car sales, you could work your way up to management, and that's probably more or less it. There's not really much further that you can go. There's all the late nights and evenings and things as well, late nights, weekends that kind of bothered me. So it was, 8 years in, it was about that summertime. I just thought, what else is out there and what else could it be that I'm doing? Yeah.
And what was the thought process after that then? What were you looking for, anything in particular? Did it kind of like fall on your lap or what?
Yeah, so there's actually a few different few reasons how that came around. So not close to kind of close to that time, we'd actually remortgaged our house. Our fixed rate mortgage was coming to an end. Remortgaged our house. I remember speaking to the mortgage advisor. I kind of thought, this is kind of a bit of a different role to be in, but I was kind of interested from that point in that side of things. And when he was asking about financial advice, we went through things such as like protection advice. I kind of became a bit interested in that industry from there. When I was looking online at financial advisors, a lot of it did need various different qualifications. So you'd have to have the relevant qualifications to be able to do the role. And I'll be honest, I actually got, not too long after, a couple of months later, I did actually get approached and asked if I was interested in joining where I am now. So joining Truly. Yeah, so a few things added up in it. That's how it came about.
Yeah, the stars kind of aligned, wasn't it?
It did, yeah.
You're thinking, and then you're like, I'm interested in that. And then, got approached. So does that always helps, isn't it, if you get approached for somewhere?
It does, yeah. And I think it's nice to be recognised. And I'm a very firm believer of I never would ever burn your bridges, because you never know when you may need something back. So 100%. I'd always like to do right by everybody and everything that I do. So yeah, it's nice to know that everything aligns.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What was the first conversation like with Trudy then?
Yeah, so I was sat, to be honest, I think I was actually sat in this seat. Yeah, I was definitely sat in this office. At that point, I had, researched a little bit about the company and researched about the role of a financial advisor. But what my worry was is I didn't have any experience. Believe it or not, a lot of the fact-finding process is actually quite similar. So with car sales, we look at, I guess, the clients, what they require, and come up with a solution. We do that with financial advice as well. So we look at what the ultimate end goal is and work back from there. So a lot of that part is similar. So I had the initial chat. I was actually the first trainee advisor that the company took on. So there was a little bit of, I guess, questions back and forth there about various qualifications. And I wanted to know what the qualifications were I'd be doing. Would I have time to do it? What exactly was involved in becoming a financial advisor? Yeah, and that's how it happened from there, really.
Oh, cool. And then did you make the decision like straight away, or did you have time to go away and think about it? Or
to be honest with you, I think I knew in my head that I did want to get out of the motor trade before I came. Yeah, I think I just exhausted that point, to be honest with you. So I think I already knew before I came that I was really interested. Yeah. But yeah, I pretty much did make that decision probably within a few hours after leaving. Yeah, firm decision.
Yeah, I bet that was super exciting, wasn't it? Fresh start, new industry. Yeah. But like you say, there's still some similarities. So you kind of had some fundamental knowledge. Yeah, which is cool. And then what was the first day like in the new office? It's grown, isn't it?
It has grown. So when we started, we were literally half the size of what we are now. Very nervous. I remember looking and thinking there was a lot of things to learn. So when I first got my login for the online qualification system, I looked and we have 3 big books of various different regulation. I kind of looked at the first few days and thought, there's a lot of information here. But to be honest, you just kind of work your way through it, and it's if you put your mind to something, it's amazing at what you can remember, to be honest. It is. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because it's such an interesting and it's ever changing, isn't it, industry? I imagine, especially these days, everything happens so quick. So yeah, how did you find then working and then learning at the same time, balancing the two? Because I'd imagine that's got its challenges.
It does have its challenges, I would say. I probably prefer doing it that way because I think if I sat down with a book and read a book for 3-4 hours solid, nothing would really, there'd be some information you retain, but a lot of it you wouldn't retain. Whereas I was very lucky and I still got to speak to clients as I was training. I basically worked as like an administrative role. So we had another financial advisor at the time and I did a lot of shadowing, a lot of administrative side of things, which I think has really helped me because when I did qualify, I knew exactly how to use the system. I knew a lot of what the forms were and why they were needed. Yeah. So I think that did definitely help. It is an ever-changing industry. So even since I qualified and even since the time I've been here, there's been various different rules and things that have come into place. So even in that 3-year period, so the way we did things 3 years ago compared to now has even changed. So it does change constantly. I think it's having that, I guess, positive mindset about things do change, but they're for the better, really.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, myself included.
Yeah.
You don't like change sometimes, do you?
You
like,
don't, no.
I like it just how the way it is. And then it changes. You're like, I don't like it like this. But then, like you say, in the future, you think, it's probably better it's done this way. Yeah. I'm doing it that way now.
I think when a change comes around, you're exactly right. You look at it and think, we've got to do all this extra work now. But really, it's for the better. Yeah. And as soon as you get used to it, it doesn't feel like a change anymore. It's only because you're so used to doing it the other way.
Yeah, it's a new norm, isn't it? Yeah.
New normal, yeah.
So then how long did it take you to qualify then?
Yeah, so I started in the September 2022. So with the route I took, we had one multiple choice exam, which was, I think it was 100 questions about regulation ethics. That was the really heavy reading one. We had a piece of coursework to complete and there was various questions attached to that. And the final one was a written exam. So written exam was a 4-hour written exam. You got your, I guess, a client fact find of a pretend client beforehand. You came up with a solution, and on the day they would also ask you, I think, 5 additional questions to ask on the day that you couldn't prepare for. I'll be honest with that exam, there was a lot of work went into. You had to remember your report. You had to go into the room for 4 hours, but you weren't allowed to take any notes or anything with you.
Oh, really?
So I wrote this report and I memorised it more or less word for word, which I was actually amazed that you can do. Like, I think it was 4,000 words, and it's amazing that you can just memorise it. And to be honest, even that report now, I could probably tell you bits about it now because it's still engraved in my brain. So the first time I'd done the written exam, I'll be honest, I didn't unfortunately pass the first time I did it, which was a bit of a setback because that was in December. Yeah, that would have been in this December 23, so just over a year later. It did definitely take a step back. I think it did knock my confidence because I'd prepared so long for doing this exam, and to get that setback meant I had to learn another new fact find, come up with another new solution for another client. So I put in for my exam again straight away. I think, to be honest, when I found out the result, I just put right back in for it. And looking back, I'd only been doing the job for about a year, and that was as a trainee. So to be honest, looking back, I think I probably wasn't ready, to be honest with you. So I done the exam again. That time I did qualify.
Yeah,
so qualified February 24.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So a year and a half now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's impressive, yeah. Because like you say, at the time you probably just wanted to, I don't know, just get it done and get qualified, isn't it? And you just wanted to like rush through it, but you mentioned there saying you probably weren't ready. So I suppose it's a mature way to look at things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than thinking, I should have passed or whatever.
I did. I definitely put a lot of focus in on just learning my answer and learn the 4,000 word report. Whereas I don't think I put enough extra work into looking at the additional questions. So the second time round, that's exactly what I did, and it was a good result. So
yeah, exactly.
It just shows it paid off. Yeah,
I can't complain. And when you qualified, then how did your role change, or was it pretty similar? You were just fully qualified, or how does it kind of go from there? Because obviously coming in brand new as a trainee and then working all this new information you're doing, and then also revising at the same time, and then you don't have to do the revision anymore, do you? What was that like?
So it definitely was a bit of my role, once I qualified, my role did change actually completely.
Okay.
So how our how our business works is we have a lot of self-employed financial advisors, and I'm an employed financial advisor with the company. So there's about 10 employed advisors and about 60 self-employed advisors. And when a self-employed advisor looks to retire, they'll retire and their client bank and their clients stay with the company, stay with Truly Independent, and an employed advisor, which is myself, will take over and look after.
Okay.
So the advisor who I took over from, he actually retired the end of April last year, so April 24. So once he retired, I'll be honest, the 1st of May, that was me looking after his clients. So it changed very quickly in that first couple of months.
Say, after you'd done the exam again,
Yeah, so as soon as I'd done that exam, I had a few months, I would say, prep work. So I worked with my financial advisor, getting to meet his clients, learn about them, which I really, really enjoyed. And then once he retired, then I took over from him.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it all happened all at once.
Very
then,
quickly,
isn't it?
yeah.
So when you say doing a lot of prep work, what goes into the prep work? Is it lots of meetings with his clients or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of meeting with his clients. So whether that be video calls or meeting them in person. And I think my previous financial advisor he'd had about 30 plus years of experience. So I think for a lot of these clients, it was probably quite different seeing me sat there
I can imagine.
compared to him. He was a very, very good advisor. He really was. So he introduced me to a lot of his clients, and a lot of it's about getting to know people. So we are financial advisors and we do look after money and we do advise on money. But I think a lot of that's built on relationships, and you have to, if you don't have trust, you don't have anything.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Because I suppose everybody's goals are different, aren't they?
Absolutely.
It's not like one size fits all. One person might want X, another person might want Y. So like you say, understanding somebody is probably the most important thing. Because humans, I think, probably, so complex, because you could think there's such an obvious solution to something, but they might want something completely different. Like think, oh, you're suited to this, but they might say, oh, I want something different. So yeah, meeting people, spending time with them, understanding them, I think, it's super, super invaluable. So yeah. How many clients did you take on then straight away?
Yeah, so initially it was, I think, between about 150 and 180 straight away. So it was
that's a lot, isn't it?
A big amount of clients. Yeah,
it's a lot of meetings, isn't it?
It was a lot of meetings. We've since had another advisor join us, and he's local as well. So he looks after some of those, and I do as well. And a lot of the reason for that is, I guess, firstly, geographical location. So it may be that you've got clients in London versus Glasgow, so they could be very much spread out. Another reason for that as well is just with the changes in regulation, we want to ensure that we're giving clients what they need really, and being there on hand all the time. So that's probably the reason why there was a slight adjustment with the client numbers. So I do still have a good number, but not quite as many as what I did.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot of people to manage for yourself, for sure. Yeah. And then you mentioned earlier at the start of this year, then you got into running. What sparked that? Because obviously, like you say, you'd been in your new role. Well, took on the clients in May, and then from the January you started running. What sparked that interest?
Yeah, so to be honest, I only started running. It had been last June. So I started.
Also, when you just started, so you started running. Yeah,
just started running just after I qualified actually. So I started a group, and it was just literally a couch to 5K.
Oh, nice!
But it was part of like a running group. So it's a local lady who runs the running group, and I think I just thought I wanted to get into something a bit of fitness. Once I did the 5K, and you probably know yourself with running, you think, right, what's next? And I'm constantly thinking, what else can I do? And I think it's so interesting that you can just keep pushing and get going further, really. And to be honest, I really enjoy it. It's a great group of people that I do it with, and we meet twice a week.
Oh, nice.
I think it's just a nice way as well. We meet one evening on a Tuesday evening, especially if you've had quite a busy day of work. It's just time for yourself.
Yeah.
Time to switch off, go out for a run, and you always feel so good afterwards.
Yeah. No. I like this. There's no distractions, isn't it? You're not on your phone, isn't it? You're not at work. You're not doing whatever, and it's just you time, just run, and just chill, and then a bit of social as well, which is quite cool. So then what gave you the? Why did you want to do half marathons this year then? I'm intrigued. Like I say, you've gone from your couch to 5K, and then half marathon's a lot further than 5K.
It's a lot further. Yeah. So I went from 5K to 10K.
Yeah.
I think the first 10K race was the cross border.
Okay,
In February. I think from that point, I just thought, what else can I do? I signed up to do the half marathon, I think in about December. So I already knew I was doing that in March. Our running coach, she gave me a training plan to get to the half marathon. And at that point, there was 3 of us that did that half marathon in the running group. So it was actually quite a small number with the amount of people we've got in the group. But I think 3 of us were determined to do that half marathon in the March. So we did have to train over winter,
that's a hard one.
It's the hardest point, especially when it's like icy and snow. You just can't go out. It's too dangerous.
Even dark. It's dark all the time.
It's dark all the time. Yeah, that's the only thing. So you definitely have to have lights and things on. Yeah, and that was my first one in March. I really wanted to do the Great North Run as well. I've just heard that the atmosphere was so good, and I've heard that it is one of the best. And to be honest, it did live up to expectations. I did really, really enjoy it. Yeah. So that was my next one. And to be honest, I think I signed up for the Cumbria run because I thought I won't have to train. The other one only being about 3 weeks before, so 3-4 weeks before.
Yeah, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are you going to do a marathon?
It is on the cards.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
so I'd really like to do the Amsterdam Marathon.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
so
That'll be quite flat, is it?
Supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what you want for sure. I did Ibiza Marathon in April, and it was just so hilly.
Was it?
Yeah, the first half was like so hilly, and then the second half was okay, but I was knackered after the first half. But yeah, I'm going to do the Malaga Marathon in December, which is flat. I did the half last year in Malaga, and that was quite flat. I got best time, so yeah, I'm going to do that in December.
That'll be really good.
Yeah, I've got some friends over there, so one of them's going to do it with me. So it's like I say, if you've done it with a couple of people in your group, it's even if you're not racing with them, like just doing something with somebody else is such a good. I like shared experiences. Yeah, it's cool because you get to remember that. So
it's really, really good. And I've also done a few of us we did a run in Blackpool actually, like a nighttime run in Blackpool this year.
Okay,
and that was a 10K in August, and even that was just such a lovely day out, just all going out together and just spending time together. Yesterday for the Cumbrian run, I was lucky enough to stick with one of my running girls. Like we stuck together the whole way through.
Oh,
and that's really nice to be able to, it's her first half marathon, so to be able to experience that with her as well.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, because your first of anything is always so special, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because like if it's your third, it's still impressive, isn't it? But you've already done 2 more.
Yeah.
So like to go with her, that'd be so cool.
It was really nice, yeah.
And then when she finishes, I got so emotional when I did my first one.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What was my first one? I did my first one in Ibiza actually, yeah. Just crossing the line and I don't know, yeah.
I think it's because you put all of your energy into it, don't you? And you know you're getting close to the end, and especially if there's a lot of support there always is at the end of a finish line. And that can get you emotional, can't it?
For saying your name. Because for me, running, it's not just the race, isn't it? It's all in weeks and hours you put into the training beforehand. Yeah. Nobody sees, isn't it? And then you do on race day and you're like, oh, it's done now. But the thing I struggled with definitely was after I did the Ibiza Marathon, I didn't have anything planned. So like my running went off a bit and then I tried to do too much and then I got out the swing of things. Whereas like having stuff always booked is good motivation, isn't it?
It's good motivation. I think as well, having that we meet up twice a week. That's really good as well. When we're doing the half marathon training, we're meeting up so early. So it was about 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
But
it was really early. But to be honest, I would do that all day long to meet up with them girls and get out and do it because you just feel so much better afterwards. And I think we're all in it kind of together. It feels good. Cool. Yeah.
Good sense of community, isn't it? Especially these days, like loads of run clubs and communities and stuff, isn't it? So yes. That is really cool. I'll be interested to see how you get on your marathon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Amsterdam Marathon. That'll be cool though.
I've said it now. It has to happen.
You've got video proof. Yeah.
We do.
So you've been here for 3 years now then, and you've been qualified well over a year. So tell me and tell people what actually is like a financial advisor. If somebody doesn't have a clue and is listening to this and they're thinking, oh, it's just like money, people tell me what to do. Explain it to me in layman's terms.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think that's where a lot of there's a big barrier there because I think a lot of people don't know what a financial advisor is. And we often get confused with things such as like a tax specialist or an accountant who'll help you do like your tax return, which is not the role of a financial advisor. So I would say our main goal and our main focus is basically looking at at what the client's end goal is. So if we had a client who approached us and they were, whether they be saving for retirement, they had an inheritance, whatever that may be, we look at ultimately what their end goal is and look at how we can help achieve that. So some of that may be done through, we'll always look at tax efficient methods first, so things that are going to be, I guess, beneficial for tax purposes to them. But there's so much more that goes into it than that. We also look at the full client's position. So I think the most important thing we look at first of all is things such as like protection. Make sure that client's got protection, because they could have a new investment, but if they were to fall poorly and to lose their job, they would have that investment there, but what else would they use? Would there be something to pay to fund their lifestyle for their families? So I think that's the most important thing. We look at it as a holistic approach, really, but work back from the client's goal and definitely work back from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think especially, well, I've only thought about it in the last few years, but when I was younger, I'd never used to think about anything like early 20s, even only mid to late 20s, I was thinking about it. But yeah, you just don't think about this stuff. But I feel like the younger you start doing it as well, the better, isn't it? And then you can worry less about things later. And then when you do get later in life, my dad retired last year. So obviously it's different conversations with different kind of people, isn't it? So you'll see people on different ends of the spectrum. So do you deal with both, like, say, people in the 20s and people in like the 60s? Or?
Absolutely. No, I would definitely say don't leave it too late, because I've seen circumstances before where if you've got that mindset and you think, I'd like to retire when I'm, let's say, 60, that's still retiring early, because it's still retiring before you get your state pension, because state pension is not payable until age 67. So it's still retiring early. So you've got 7 years where you need to, I guess, bridge that gap. So even by making a small contribution, I've seen contributions before of even £50 a month, let's say, that all adds up. You receive pension contributions especially, you receive things like tax relief. So you get tax relief, which is an additional contribution from the government on top of your contribution. It all adds up over time. So I would say, yeah, definitely don't leave it too early. I think as well it's interesting because, again, not just with pensions, various other investments, a lot of the time the money is seen as safer with the bank because the bank won't go down. But as well, sometimes depending on what account it's in, it may not go up either.
Yeah.
So in fact, it's probably losing money in terms of its value because of inflation going up. So
that's one thing I've learned is, if you're saving money in, well, obviously, like you say, it depends what bank is. If you are tiny percentages, you're going to lose money if inflation's, 10% on average every year, right? So it's better to either have it in like a high interest savings account or move it elsewhere, isn't it? And is it something like you can put in to your pension, is it up to £40,000 per year tax free?
60.
60,000
£60,000 a year or equivalent to your earnings. So for example, if a client earned, let's say, £40,000, that's the maximum amount they could put into their pension, not the 60. Whichever's the lower amount.
Yeah. Because I think that's a good thing, isn't it? Because of, being self-employed, you want to pay as little tax as possible, don't you? So if you got a big lump sum at the end of your tax year, you got the option to put it in.
A lot of people don't know that as well. A lot of people don't know that having things like that in place can be a good way of, I guess, reducing what tax you pay, but also it's benefiting you for later life as well. And even things such as, I think it's getting information out there is really important, that financial advice, no matter what it is for everybody. So I would hate to think that a client would think they don't qualify for financial advice for whatever reason, because everybody does. And as you'll know from being at school, nobody tells you about where to invest your money or where to save, even how to save on taxes, even like protection. Nobody tells you like what life insurance does or business protection, relevant life cover, anything like that. And there's a statistic out there which is for business owners, and it's actually a really low percentage of them know what things such as like relevant life cover is, which is something which is super important to have. I think it's just getting that information out there is really important.
Yeah. Because I know somebody who's fallen ill, business owner, and they don't have the relevant protection to cover themselves. And it's like, it's crazy, isn't it? Because you just go, well, especially me, I'll probably be, I don't know what the right way to phrase it, but when you're younger, you don't think about falling ill, do you, as much as when you're older, and you think, oh, I'll be fine. But then when you actually need it, it's better to have the insurances in place.
Yeah, and I think no matter what that cover is for, so if it was for something like a sickness sort of cover, you don't sometimes think what would happen if I can't pay my bills, because most of us, I think, just live every month and we know what we spend, we know what we earn, so we know that our expenditure is met by our income. But if your income suddenly stops, where does that money come from?
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Not from thin air.
And it could stop for various different reasons. It could even stop for, I guess, somebody falling ill, or even if somebody was to, if you were to change your job, that's not gonna cover it. But I think it's really important to have things in place, really.
Yeah, definitely. Why do you think that we're not taught it at school? I don't know if we are taught it now, but I wasn't taught it at school. It's one of the most important things. I think, like say, buying a house or like paying your bills or like you say, financial protection and that kind of thing. I think it's such an important thing that you just don't learn at school. You learn like algebra, like you say.
You do,
and
yeah.
I don't think I've ever used algebra since I left school.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I think, to be honest, I think that it would be a really good idea for either financial advisors or professionals to go into schools and even talk to, for example, like year 11, like somebody who was 15, 16, and just kind of explain the various different options there is out there. But it's not something which we learn. There's so many different things where I'll speak to my friends even now, and they're kind of 30 plus, and sometimes they don't know about the various different protection policies that you can have. And I think it's just something which is often, I think it's probably overlooked, and not the importance of it's not seen.
It is definitely like two of my friends, well, one of my friends bought a house like last week, and one of them's in the process of buying one at the moment, and they were talking about the life insurance and all that kind of stuff. And one of them was saying, oh, I'll just worry about it later. And the other person like, oh, I haven't got that. And I was thinking, I was even saying to them, I was saying, at our age, you can get it so cheap.
You can, really,
So cheap. So it's like, why don't you just get it now, just in case? Because like you see, for example, somebody else who's older and they haven't got it and they can't use it. And it's just, I think it is lack of education probably, isn't it?
I agree. And I think as well, a lot of people think, I don't need that. And I guess car insurance is compulsory and you have to have car insurance, where there's other options out there where you don't have to have that. So life insurance I'd definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
But ultimately as well, if you don't have it, then that's somebody's own loss. I think they think it's not important, I'll look at it later down the line. Whereas not only later down the line will it be more expensive, if something were to happen, and as awful as it is, things do happen. There's so many situations where somebody will fall ill, or even, a nasty accident or something like that. And if that leaves their family behind, having something like a life insurance could give them a sum of money to basically make sure they're looked after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is super important. Like I say, I've only really come in the last few years. I've been more before that because, it is. Like I say, things do happen, don't they?
They do happen.
I bet you see it all the time. But,
we do. We do see it happen. And I think it's really assuring to see. We often see the circumstances where a client has protection in place and we see it being used and we see that it has give them a good benefit, which is really, really nice. But we also see sometimes where things can happen just very suddenly, and it's not nice to see at all. It really, really isn't. I think the earlier you plan, the more that your legacy can continue, and the more that you looked after your family.
Yeah. I think that's the thing as well. Like say family. Like I don't have a family yet, but I suppose when you're younger as well, you don't think of it as much because you just have to think about yourself, don't you?
And
when you have kids, then it's a different story, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't look at life insurance until I got a mortgage.
Yeah,
because
I
think a lot of people don't. And when I first got my mortgage, I did take out life insurance. By this point, I was 22, so it wasn't a lot at all per month, and I just paid it. But I probably wasn't educated enough on what different sort of life insurances do. So there's lots of different types of policies out there, and they all bring a different benefit. And you don't have to have them all, but I think it's important that people know what they do.
Yeah, because I think education is the main thing, isn't it? Because we go through all of our lives and not really understanding what it is and what it does. And then, like you say, if it's sprung upon people thinking, oh, I'm getting a mortgage, people are trying to sell me this insurance, life insurance, and nobody likes to be sold to, do they? Let's be honest. I don't like to be sold to. And then you're saying, oh, you need to pay this every month or every year. And you think, oh, well, I don't really need that. I don't really want that. And they don't understand what it actually does. And then, in some circumstances, it probably could go wrong. And it's just, not nice for anybody involved. So, yeah.
I think it's a nice thing that I'd like to see our role as doing that as well as financial advisors is I guess making the jargon and all the technical language relatable and explain it in simple terms, because you're right, there is so much out there, and it's what do you need, what do I go for, really. So I guess it's breaking down that technical barrier, making things relative to that client's individual circumstances, whether that be a pension, investment, protection, whatever that may be. Yeah, just so they can understand it and not leave confused.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard bit though, isn't it? It's putting it across in like bite-sized layman terms.
Yes, yeah.
So anybody can understand it, rather than, like say, using the analogies or the abbreviations or the jargon, like you said, because I think that's when people get lost and zone out, don't they?
They do, they absolutely do. And I think as well, it's having it needs to be relative and relatable to that client, because it may be that if you went across with every single different option, you've got to know your client first to be able to know what's important to them. For example, I could talk to you about a product that you're not interested in at all. It's just going to go in one ear and out the other. if it doesn't have any relation to you, then it needs to be. That's a really important factor as well.
Yeah. How do you decide that then? Is it just your experience and your relationship with the client? Do you just think like, oh well, I've got these products and Adam would like this one because he's got X and Y goals and that type of thing?
Definitely, yeah. So when we first, say you were a new client and we've just met for the first time.
You can do role play.
Do role play.
Yeah.
So we would do like a fact find. So we would find out personal information, things such as like your age, your employment status, assets. That's an important one. So what assets you have. We'd then look at it and say, right, how can we help and how can we aid your situation? So whether it be you're looking to make pension contributions, where will that save you, and how will it benefit you on saving on tax? We also do things such as like a risk questionnaire quite early on in the process, because it's really important to know that financial advice, especially investments, come with risk. If you could put your money into a pot and double it in the next 2 years, everybody would do it. But that's not a realistic financial advice. It can happen occasionally if investment is doing really well, but it won't happen every single year. Where things go up, they'll also come down as well. So we'll ask things such as a risk questionnaire and really get to know you and how you would feel about losses. Because if you said, I want to invest my money, but I never want it to go down in value, investing maybe isn't for you. So maybe look at where else we can help in something else instead, because things are going to go up and down in value. And I think a lot of that comes with experience. To be perfectly honest, when I first started, I did a risk questionnaire and I came out as a zero risk investor.
Oh, really?
But I had no experience at that point, and I thought, well, I don't want to put my money somewhere that's going to go down. But now, definitely through experience, I've learned that things go down. They generally come back up again as well.
Yeah.
And we're here as advisors to advise clients on what investment funds to go for. And that involves a lot of research, a lot of looking at past data, things such as like financial strength scores to find out which companies are good for that client. We also look at things when we're doing the fact find. Protection's a really big area that I was referring to earlier, because typically in financial advice, we follow a priority order, and protection should always come first. Because if you had, for example, an income shortfall every month, or you didn't have any protection in place, saving for your retirement is really important, but having probably immediate protection in place is more important. So it's looking at a lot of different things together to come up with a solution. But it may be that we recommend one product and refer to another one later down the line, and we'll revisit again in a couple of months' time whenever time's right. Or sometimes we'll have a situation where we'll recommend 2 different products at the same time, and I think that's also absolutely fine as well. Yeah.
That's interesting, because typically I'd imagine if you're younger, you could do like a higher risk, couldn't you, potentially, with some low. But then obviously if you come into retirement age, I'd imagine it'd be better to do a lot more low risk, because you probably wanted to take some money out and make sure it doesn't
So you're
lose.
right, yeah. So a big thing is definitely time horizon, because if you're looking to have access to that money within the next sort of, I'd say 3 years, then we wouldn't expose it to too much risk. That's not to say you can't, but we just wouldn't recommend doing so, because if that investment falls in value and you're reliant on that money, you pose a risk. Whereas I think the longer you have, generally over the long-term investments they will go up and down, but they are more so on the upward scale. So the longer time horizon you have, often the better. And that's not to say that you should take a high risk over the long term if you're not comfortable with doing so. So we'll ask the various different questions first. And it may be that a client wants to invest over the long term, but wants to take a very cautious level of risk because they don't like seeing it fall in value. That's equally fine as well. But yeah, risk can change all of the time. Basically, it can, because it could be that you, for example, let's say you were debt-free, you didn't have mortgage or anything like that, you might want to take a high level of risk. And then if you then got a mortgage and had another, I guess, event happen in your life, you may think, actually, I want to take a more balanced approach now because I've got different priorities. So things do change. And we revisit plans and we review policies annually for the clients. So that means that we can look at the client's positioning annually and say, has anything changed? Update the assets, update on what's happening, and then make sure the products are still suitable from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. And then how do you take into account, say, like life events, say kids? So say if you did the questionnaire on me and I said, I want to have a kid in 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that taken into consideration? And then like say, if somebody's, I don't know, wanting to retire or they're wanting to buy a car or whatever, I don't know.
Definitely, yeah. So if it does, because I guess things change there in that client's life, and that's going to make a difference to. It's going to affect everything really. So if you said, I want them to buy a car in the next year, what I'd probably recommend doing in that case, if your investments were fully reliant on and you purchased that vehicle, would maybe switch it to something a little bit more cautious. If you wanted to retire within a certain time frame, we would again adjust the risk level to adjust that for that happening. So if you wanted to retire, I'd say within the next couple of years, we would then look at it and think, let's lower the risk level down. I think it's also important as well when we're having that discussion with clients to identify the time horizon before we identify what product is suitable, because it may be that a client had a lump sum they want to invest and they want to invest it into their pension. But a lot of people don't know that you can't access your pension. It's going up to age 57. So if it was yourself, for example, you may think, I want to invest this money, but I want it back out again in 10 years. A pension's not the option.
No chance.
No.
I didn't even know that. I've learned something new today, definitely.
You're not getting it out. So 57 will be the age it's changing in a few years' time.
Okay. Yeah. That's why you need to speak to a financial advisor. So yeah, what would you say to someone if someone's on the fence of getting some financial advice, or they're not sure, or they just feel a bit stupid, or it's not right for them? What would you say to them?
Yeah, definitely. So I would 100% say that no question is ever a silly question. Don't be afraid. I'd hate to think that there was a barrier against financial advice. I guess in the past, financial advisors were probably seen as maybe not salesmen, but typical like men in suits, and it is a very male-dominated industry. But I'd like to think that it is welcome for everybody. There will be a stage in people's lives where they will need financial advice, and I think it's not to be scared of that. And we are all very approachable. We are here just to help at the end of the day. So we're here to break down those technical barriers, because sometimes you'll get a statement through from your pension and there'll be so many words in there, which big long words that you think this doesn't quite make sense. And that's where we're here to help and here to, I guess, break down those barriers and I guess see what we can do to assist your goal, really.
Yeah, cool. And then what's one piece of advice you'd give to a younger Hayley, maybe just starting out in the working world, 18-year-old self? What was one thing you'd say to Hayley back then?
So I would say definitely to have confidence. Very much when I was like 18 years old, I did lack confidence. I remember even the first time I had to pick up a telephone, which sounds so silly, but at the time when you're 18, it is a scary thing to do. So I would say to definitely have confidence, and also it's okay to get it wrong, because you're still learning. You're learning every single day. I think you're learning no matter what industry you're in. There's always things changing. So I think it's okay to get it wrong and to learn from your mistakes and just be honest about it, really.
Yeah, because everyone makes mistakes, don't they?
They do. Yeah, they do. It's been, I think it's been aware as well of sometimes it takes making a little small mistake to not do it again.
Yeah,
really.
definitely. Yeah,
as bad as that sounds.
twice.
Yeah,
for sure. No, that's a good piece of advice. Yeah, more confidence and then own your mistakes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So Hayley, I believe you've been nominated for an award. So tell us about that.
I have. So I have been lucky enough to be nominated for an award. So the award is Women in Financial Advice, and my colleagues have put me forward for this award, which is really lovely, and it's really nice to be valued by the team as well. The next stage of the nomination was to do a application, which I completed a couple of months ago, and I've been chosen as a finalist. So it's a rising star in Women in Financial Advice.
Yeah. When's the ceremony?
It's in November.
Okay,
so next 12th of November.
Nice. That's exciting. So you're very well versed in the awards world then. Obviously in the car sales and now in this. So I think awards are so cool. Just about recognition, isn't it? Like say your colleagues recognising you and nominating you. I think that's great. How did that make you feel then when you got the nomination?
To be honest, really, really good. So I think a lot of the time you come to work and you just do your job every day, and I'm just doing my role. So it's so nice to see that. I think it's nice to know that I am doing a good job, and they do recognise me as a person, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did make me feel really good.
Yeah, because I suppose, like you say, you just come in, do your job, and then when people actually think, "Oh, Hayley, yeah, you're doing a really good job," I'm going to actually go out their way to nominate you. It's such a big thing. So I think that'd be exciting, and hopefully you beat the 4th place this time and you get the 1st place.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah. How many other people have been nominated for it?
So for that category, there's about 14 in that category.
Big category then, yeah.
It's a big category, and it's judged by, I guess, professionals in various different industries, mainly financial advice, but various different sectors, should I say. So yeah, hopefully fingers crossed for November.
And what do you know what the criteria is, or is that a mystery?
So there is a criteria, and it's looked at, I think it's for Rising Star, it's looked at minimum of 3 years or under in the industry, which I have had. It's been only just 3 years now. And it's looked at, I guess, my journey and how I've made an impact out there, and to really represent women as well.
Right, where can people find you, follow you, get in touch, all that fun stuff?
Yes, absolutely. So my LinkedIn profile, so my LinkedIn is just my name, so Hayley Gibson. You can search me on there. We have financial advisors up and down the country, so we've got 10 employed and 60 self-employed advisors. So we're a big firm. We've got lots of advisors out there, and to be honest, they're all every area of the UK as well. So whether it be you're in Scotland, you're in London, no matter where you are, we can always offer to meet virtually. So if you couldn't, for example, get to our head office is in Carlisle, we can meet virtually. We can visit people at clients' houses as well. So we are very much nationwide.
Yeah, that's nice. All right, well, thank you very much for coming on. Really enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment your favourite part. If you listen on Spotify or Apple, make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review. See you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.